June 1994 in a Denver courtroom, a prosecutor's words of finality to the victim of a notorious street crime.
We had a beautiful young couple celebrating their first anniversary.
A crime still vivid for attorney Craig Silverman.
They came home, parked their vehicle, and then an incredible tragedy occurred.
Tom Holler gunned down. His wife Christina left for dead after a savage beating.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Shane D. Davis, guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree.
The two men convicted in the case,
Stephen D. Harrington, guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree,
were sentenced to spend the rest of their lives in prison.
I'm happy that they'll never get out.
Now 9 Wants to Know has learned that one of these men will see his conviction reviewed, part of a fresh look at decades-old cases where investigators used microscopic hair analysis.
The examiner's trained eye can learn many things.
Pioneered by the FBI.
This vital information may help to establish guilt or innocence.
And used for decades in crime labs across the country. Examiners with microscopes compared hair from crime scenes and suspects, then offered opinions that were accepted as science.
The examiner can state with a certain degree of probability, high probability or a low probability, whether or not a given hair came from a given source or not.
Exactly what happened in the trial of Shane Davis and Steve Harrington.
I reached a conclusion that there is a strong or a high probability that this hair from the tank top came from Mr. Harrington.
There were people that were convicted based on this evidence.
Anne-Marie Moyes leads the Korey Wise Innocence Project at the University of Colorado Law School.
And then when DNA did become available and the hairs could be tested or other biological evidence and the case was tested, it often showed that the hair examiners were just completely wrong.
The FBI stopped using hair microscopy in 2000 and more recently urged a review of old cases. We care deeply about justice, which is both about obtaining convictions and making sure mistakes are fixed. Now the Colorado Innocence Project and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation are planning a review of the cases of 51 Colorado men convicted from 1976 to 1995 in crimes including murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault.
We've overemphasized finality and underemphasized justice.
A review long overdue in the eyes of longtime defense attorney Phil Cherner.
Nobody wants an innocent person in custody. If the innocent person's in custody, the real bad guy's out there.
The list of cases hasn't been made public, but 9 Wants to Know obtained a copy of it. Some of the cases received little or no attention at the time. Others were big news, like Kenyon Tollerton, who admitted to raping and murdering a 14-year-old girl. Marcus Fernandez, 15 when he was arrested for killing a state trooper in 1992. And Shane Davis, one of the men convicted of killing Tom Holler. The other, Steve Harrington, is not on the list, and it's not clear why. After our questions, CBI and the Innocence Project are going to consider whether the list should be revised before the review begins in the spring.
Our goal will be case by case to look back.
To find cases where the system may have gotten it wrong.
If we think there's a credible claim of factual innocence and the hair evidence was part of the conviction, then we would be pursuing DNA testing.
There are some people who suffer wrongful convictions. I don't want to be a part of that.
Silverman points to evidence beyond hair in the Holler murder, including a business card and a coin purse tying Davis to the attack.
Would you be able to recognize that man you saw shoot Tom Holler if you saw him again?
Yes.
And eyewitnesses.
Is he in this room now?
Yes, he is.
I'm not worried about this.
As sure today of guilt, that 27 years ago the system got it right and 2 killers were taken off the streets.
Somebody's walking around out there and just going to live a nice life. Just they don't even know that your courage saved their life.
Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Tom Holler's mother told us she supports the effort to make sure someone was not wrongfully convicted based on hair evidence. But she also remains convinced in all of the other evidence that led the jury to convict Davis and Harrington. Christina Holler left Colorado and eventually remarried and had children.